Is it Ifeanyi that is the host?
Okay,
It's
Miss
showing
Ifeanyi.
Ifeanyi as the
Oh,
host.
okay. Miss Ifeanyi, please kindly grant me the access to. Okay. That's done already. So I'm recording now. Thank you so much, Miss Ifeanyi. All right, so let's continue. Now, let's look at what we call range of cells. Range of cells. Now, a range of cells, just as the name sounds, is a collection of cells. That's what it simply means. All right, now let me do this. This is a range of cell, okay? And it started from row C7 and ends in cell C7 and ends in cell N19. All right. Now, if you can only tell an active cell by looking at the address box, then it means you don't understand yet. You need to be able to look at a cell and know the name without having to look at the address box. Remember, the cell name simply means the active cell, more like, okay? And of course, we already defined the cell as the meeting point between the row and the column, all right? Okay, now let us type. Let's type Emeka. Now, if you want to type this Emeka in a range of cells, all right, what we'll likely do is to type one after the other. Okay, let me color the cell I want to write all these Emeka in so that it's clear what I'm going to do. So you want to repeat Emeka in all the cells. Now, what we'll likely do is to write one after the other, or if you're trying to be smart, some of us may want to copy and paste, but you will agree with me that will take a lot of time. But with your knowledge of range of cells, all you need to do is to highlight the range of cells. Meeting will end in 10 minutes, Jehovah. So we've done 30 minutes already. Okay. So highlight all the cells and then you type what you want to type. Please, when you highlight, don't click outside. Highlight and then type your Emeka and you press Control Enter. That will duplicate the Emeka in all the cells. I believe this is clear. Please, whatever I do that's not clear, you can raise up your hand or you can pause the class to ask a question, but I'd rather prefer you raise your hand so that we'll have a coordinated class and then with that, we'll be able to maximize our time, okay? All right, so let us start looking at the basic Excel functions. Like I mentioned in our first class, Excel has over 500 functions, all right? And for you to call yourself an Excel guru, you should know like 50 or thereabout. If you know 50, I think you should be proud of yourself and call yourself an Excel guru. But the more you know, the better for you, especially in your own field. But for me, as an instructor, I will have to know more than my field. I don't even have a field, basically. I'm just an instructor. The more I know, the better for me. And that goes for anyone that wants to be an instructor also. Okay. So let's look at the sum function, which simply is a function that we use for addition. Okay. And there are many ways to use the sum function. Let us start by calculating or adding every figure in our row 4. All the figures in row 4, let us sum them up. Now, you could either use a function or a formula. Now, what is the difference? A function is a predetermined formula in Excel. I'll take that again. A function is a predetermined or pre-written formula in Excel, all right? While a formula is not predetermined. Both of them start with the same equal sign. For instance, if you want to write a formula, you begin with the equal sign. You want to write a function, also begin with the equal sign. That's one thing they have in common. But by the time we start to use them, you'll be able to see the difference. So let us do the sum using a formula first. So you can put an equal sign, and then you click the cell you want to add and manually put your plus sign. Remember, your plus sign shares the same location with your equal sign. So you hold down your shift key and press that button to introduce your plus sign. Then you click the next cell you want to add. And let's assume you want to add just those two. You can now press enter. It gives you the answer. This is actually pretty clear. All right. Let's go again. Equal sign. You pick the first cell plus. You can choose to pick the second cell plus. You can keep picking. And then, but of course, you will agree this will take a lot of time. It will surely take a lot of time. Do you understand? All right, so that is the manual method of sum. It's manual. And that's when you're using your formula. Okay? And let's also use a function to do this. You simply write your equal sign. You write your sum function, sum. Now, when you write your function and it shows this way, you open your function using the tab key. Okay? Alternatively, you can also click. You click or you double click on the function to open it. All right? Then you can supply your arguments. Now, anytime you write a function and open it, these things you're seeing here, which is saying number 1, comma, number 2, these are called arguments. And a collective of arguments is called function. It's called syntax rather. So let's supply arguments 1. You can pick. Now you separate arguments using comma. All right. So if selected argument 1, comma, argument 2, comma, argument 3, comma, argument 4, and then 5. Now, when you get to 5, don't put another comma because you're not selecting any other argument. The next thing to do will be to close your function and then hit the enter key. When you do, you can go to the base of the cell, double click to autofill. That gives you the answer. This is also a primary method of the sum function. Okay, let's look at the other ones. You can equally say equal sign, the sum function, you open it, you can click and drag. You then close and then enter. You can see this one is faster. And then you have to fill. I think this is clear. All right. You can also do something like this. Sum, you open it. Now, you can manually type in the cells. The first figure is in cell B14, right? Then you can say colon. The last figure is in cell F14, right? You close and then you hit enter. Then you autofill if you want to. Why didn't it pick? Hold on. What's going on here? Let's do it again. Equal sign, sum. Let's open. Oh, I made a mistake. The first figure, that's 14, that's cell B4. Then you put your colon and then cell F4. You close your function, you press enter, it gives you the answer, then you can autofill. All right. The last but not the least, okay, not the last, let's do this one. Let's sum up our column 5, or column that has the value 5. Now you can do something like this. Put the cursor where you want the answer to be. You simply press your Alt and equal sign and hit the enter key. It gives you the answer also. Okay? And this is clear. And then the last method is the range of cells, which is you do something like this. You highlight all of them, and then you also do your Alt equal sign. It gives you the answer to all of them. I want to believe this is clear. Please, if the class, if the link goes up, please click on the same link and join back, okay? Please, I'm trying to be fast so that you can cover up a lot of things. So that is it with the sum function. If you have a question, please Let's take questions. I think nobody has sent any chats. Nobody has raised their hand. I think that means we are okay. So let's continue. Let's look at the product function. Product is for multiplication. It's also very simple. Let's see the manual method first. Equal sign, you pick the first number. Now, for multiplication, the key shares the same location with your figure 8. That's the key we call asterisk. That is your multiplication key. So let's introduce that. So 20 multiplied by 8. Enter gives you the answer. This one is equally very, very clear. It's very easy. Then for the function, you can do something like equal sign, product. Remember to open it with your tab key, and then you can click and drag. Of course, remember to close your function and then hit the enter key. It gives you the answer. All right. For those of us that were not in class, when you have something like this, you press Ctrl+1 to bring up your format cell dialog box, and then you put the category in numbers, and then you can say, okay, that's the answer. All right. I believe this is clear. Now, that is it for the product function. It has just two types, the manual one, and then which is the formula, and then the function part of it. So that ends it with the product function. If you have a question, please, I am waiting for your questions. If there's no question, I'll be glad to continue to the average function. Of course, we all know what the average function is. It is used to get